cmpradio.net, the voice of Chester.
cmpradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P, and I am here with a very special guest, Miss Desiree Potts. How are you doing today?
Good evening, John Pierre. How are you?
I'm good. Absolutely. But we're here to talk to Miss Desiree Potts about her upcoming campaign. Today was the last day for petitions. I hope everyone had a chance to get their petitions signed. I pray that their signatures are accepted, and I pray that the people that want to run get an opportunity to run. That's what it's all about, right? Absolutely. So let's get into this interview, because I'm curious as to, who you are, right? Where you come from, what do you like to do? Because you're gonna be a judge. Right, and that's real.
It's huge.
That's real.
It's major.
And for people that don't know what you're running for, get up a little closer to the microphone.
Okay.
And tell them exactly what you are running for.
Good evening. Thank you again for this opportunity. I am Desiree Potts. I am running for Magisterial District Judge for Court 32-1-22. Judge Seaton retired about 2 years ago, so his seat has remained vacant. And on February the 3rd, there was an order from the higher courts that Chester would now be combined with Marcus and Traynor. Or shall I put it the other way? Marcus and Traynor will now be combined with Chester Court.
Okay.
So that presented an opportunity at that time, because I am born and raised in Chester. Up until the 8 years of 18, I went into the U.S. Army.
Okay.
Served proudly my country for 11 years.
Wow. Thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. It was
Absolutely.
a lot, but it was a great experience.
Right.
Leadership, discipline, honor, respect. Those are core values that are necessary, and very necessary for a judge.
Yes.
So I know that I have the character, the values, the experience, the moral capacity of that of a judge.
Let's go.
So the 11 years of being in the Army definitely has prepared me for such a time as this. And along with, I'm a corporate paralegal, 20 corporate paralegal and immigration paralegal. Those are my two specialties that I've been doing for the past 20 years at my current job, but I've been a legal professional for 25 years. So the law is what I do every day.
Every day.
The complexities of the law, applying the law, is what I do every day.
Okay.
So I'm not new to it, I'm just true to it.
I like that.
It's what I do best.
I like that.
I love it. I love my job. I love the law. There's no guesswork. The facts are there, the evidence is there, and you just apply. That's it. You take your feelings out of it, you take your emotions out of
You're
it,
supposed to. You're supposed
and you
to.
apply the law.
Absolutely.
It's just that simple.
Well, I'm excited that you're running. I say congratulations.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
I hope
I'm
you run
excited.
a clean race.
Yes.
No mudslinging.
No, I don't have
dirt,
to. I'm
right?
running on my merits.
Yes.
I don't have to put someone down to try to elevate myself.
Oh man.
That's tacky.
The bell at. Thank you. Thank you.
That's tacky. I don't
It
have
is.
to do that.
Right.
I don't have to do that. My credentials speak for themselves. I'm running my race. I'm like this.
Right.
I'm not looking to my left, my right, or behind me.
Right.
I'm running my race.
Okay.
I'm not concerned about what others are doing. I'm a jaguar. I don't care about the ants. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to run my race because I believe that I am the best candidate for this position of magisterial district judge.
Right.
We have to restore respect, honor back to court.
Yes, we do.
32-122. Judge Seaton retired about 2 years ago, so
Yes.
there's no one of our community there to serve our community.
Wow.
So there's been senior judges filling in, but they're not of our community.
Right.
I'm invested in my community.
Absolutely.
I love Chester, born and raised here. I left and came back. So I've been back in Chester. I currently live in Trainer.
Okay.
But Chester is my home, is dear to me. I've
Absolutely.
started a nonprofit called Coalition of Hope, offering inner city empowerment services with 501c3 nonprofit.
Wow.
And I started out 22 years ago,
Wow.
giving back to my community wholeheartedly in the trenches. I started out at the Village Charter School being a Cub Scout master.
Right.
Out of all the dads there, none of them wanted to step up and be a Cub Scout master.
At all. So you.
None. So I had no choice. Well, I did have a choice.
Right.
And my choice was to step up
Right.
and serve the young people,
Okay.
the young boys. Because I'm a mother of 3 grown men now.
Right.
But
at that time.
Cub Scouting, I thought was huge back in the
Right.
day.
I mean, you were in the military, so
I was in the military.
So anything that's
yes.
going to teach your kids what you
Discipline
learn and give it to them
structure,
early, right? I
life
will see.
skills.
Right.
Yes.
I was in the Cub Scouts for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks
Yeah,
only.
yeah, 3 weeks. Because then my dad put me in karate,
Okay, that was
Right.
a good discipline.
and then after that, it was all about reading.
Reading.
Right. Yeah. He was very staunch on reading.
Okay.
Moby Dick over and over
Over
and
again.
over. Oh, I still have nightmares about that. Well, but back to you and your family. Like, describe your childhood growing up.
My childhood, let's see. I grew up an only child, so that was a little rough.
Right.
Because everybody had big families.
yeah.
And I would envy those families because someone was always home.
Always home.
And it was just me and my mom was a hard worker.
Right.
And she believed in making sure that I never wanted for
Anything. Wow.
anything. My mother sacrificed so much for me, and God rest her soul. I'm about to get emotional.
Right.
But my mom was just the strongest person, the strongest person to do whatever she could do to make sure I was good.
Right.
I was spoiled. I was a brat.
It's hard to be an only child and not be spoiled.
Yes.
Because you get everything.
Yes.
You don't have to share
No.
with anyone.
No, but I definitely envied those families
Right.
that had.
And they envied you. She the only child. I wish I didn't have brothers kicking me at the night,
Yeah,
stealing my
yeah.
chips. Right, absolutely.
Yeah, so my childhood, every year we would go on vacations. Like when Disney first opened
Wow.
back in 1972,
Wow.
I was there.
Wow.
I was there.
That's amazing.
So every year, my mother would make sure we went away, whether it was Virginia Beach,
Right.
Roanoke, Niagara Falls.
Right.
My mom made sure
That's
that
awesome.
I had exposure
Right.
to things beyond Chester.
Absolutely. You got to get out to know what you have in.
Yes.
And I say it all the time, man. There's nothing wrong with leaving as long as you come back.
Yeah,
And you
and give
give
back.
and give back.
Give back.
Don't just come back and go hide in your hole. Come
Yeah.
back and give back.
Yes.
When we first opened up the radio station, I said there are tons of positive people in this community, but we're like groundhogs. We only pop up when something piques our interest. Other than that, we're in our holes. So I begged everyone. I said it's time for us to come out of our holes, right? Because as many negative people are in this city, we outweigh them. We outnumber them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's a crazy amount of numbers, but we have to come out. We have to help our children, right? Because I believe that if we help our children, we'll finally get to a point where we don't need to help anyone else. You know what I mean? So help our kids, help them dream, help them have hope. So what? Give me a parallel, right? And not a bad one, but one that you can take from your childhood and say that children are still experiencing or are not experiencing now.
I would think because of technology, technology is a good and a bad.
Right.
I see young children, 3, with an iPad,
Right.
with a cell phone. They could work it
They
better
can work
than
it
I
right.
can.
Right.
But they still in Pampers,
Yep.
or they're still on a bottle.
Right.
But they know how to work
Yeah,
that
they know how to swipe. They
laptop
know how
or
to
that-
swipe. Right. My daughter, that's all she do. Soon as she get my phone, she
So
swipe.
these babies that are born now, I mean, they're coming out like baby geniuses for real. Like it's totally different.
Absolutely.
Totally different. They're moving at 2 or 3 months, where back when I had my child wasn't doing any of that
Right.
at 6 months, you know? So these babies are different.
Yeah.
They're very different.
I said my
and they're-
daughter is a COVID baby. She
Yes.
is very different. She
They're
gonna let you know how
different.
she feels. She gonna if she like it, she like it. If she don't, she gonna throw it at you.
Yeah.
Right? real quick.
So I guess it's more so, I think children and teenagers are missing out on the community as a kid. Having friends come, you get together, you go outside and you play together in the fresh air, and you just explore and have fun
And have fun,
together.
and have fun.
Everybody is to themselves on their phone,
Everybody.
and it's like a social disconnect.
But this is social media. It's supposed to bring us together. We're
It's not
supposed
too
to.
sociable.
It's not.
No,
Right.
no, it doesn't bring us together. So I miss that, and I
Right.
think the young people of today, they missed out on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your family. You said you were an only child,
Only child.
right? So you got 3 kids.
I have 3 sons.
How was that raising 3 sons, knowing that you were an only child, right?
Well, I made sure
Right.
that they didn't have the life I had.
Right.
Being an only child, I was
Okay.
like, no,
No.
I'm having more than one.
Right.
I'm having more than one.
Right.
Okay. So having 3 boys was different.
Right.
You know, I wanted a girl. So because I didn't have my own, I decided to, when I formed my nonprofit, I started the Miss Chester pageant.
Okay.
And it was a mentoring program, boot camp for about 6 weeks.
Wow.
That I was basically preparing these young ladies how to conduct themselves. Because
right.
we're all women, but we don't all conduct ourselves like ladies. So I wanted our young people to be little ladies.
Right.
But it was through pageantry was the attraction, through pageantry. But it was a mentoring program, giving them life skills, how to sit, how to talk, how to communicate effectively. You know.
That's important.
So it was important. So I had the pageant girls were my girls,
Right.
and it's amazing that I see them now and their mothers. I'm like, I'm old. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
They are mothers now with children.
Right.
And all I ever say is I hope I did something
Good.
impactful
In your life.
in their lives.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's all you're here for.
Because you don't want all the time that I spent with those
Right.
girls to have been in vain.
In vain.
They didn't take nothing
Nothing
away
in.
from it.
Right.
So it's always my prayer when I see them that they took something positive away from the program.
So it was basically like you were giving them an owner's manual. I say that's the one thing we don't have a lot of, right? You know, you get an owner's manual for everything. I got an owner's manual for this iPad, for my cell phone, you know what I mean? You don't get an owner's manual in life, right?
No.
And you need someone who has experience to come back and tell you about maybe the mistakes or the missteps that she or he could have made, right? So, you know, I want to thank you for doing that, right?
Thank you. I enjoyed the pageant. I enjoyed the Miss Chester pageant.
So where's the pageant now?
I burnt myself out.
You did?
15 years grinding with the pageant. I really burnt myself out. I do have parents who contact me on the regular
right.
asking me to start the pageant.
Right.
I am so burnt out.
Right. I'm sure it's a lady out there, right, that would
Yes,
love to.
I want to pass the baton.
Right.
I really do.
That's hard, right? When
I
you,
really want to pass the baton. And I've had a few young ladies who
Right.
were interested, but life happens.
life happens.
Life happens.
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
understand it.
Absolutely.
And so now my focus has been on breast cancer awareness,
Okay.
raising money and awareness for women in the community
Right.
who are suffering from this devastating disease
It is.
that not only impacts the person but impacts the whole family.
The whole family, right?
And the caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a huge responsibility
It
on the
is.
caregivers. So one of my best friends passed away from
sorry
breast
to hear that.
cancer at 51. She was diagnosed at 46.
Mm.
And she passed away at 51. Her name was Teresa Lavelle Powell. And so I continued in her honor with raising breast cancer awareness and funding. So we've had women, and I'm so happy that we're in a position that we've been able to help women
Absolutely.
with groceries,
Right.
co-pay, wigs, pay their groceries, transportation to and from chemotherapy.
Right.
So I think the community, really, because without them, there would be no support.
No.
And the community definitely embraced this initiative, raising breast cancer awareness and funding for those in need. So I definitely want to thank the community for their support these past 15 years.
I want to thank you for everything that you've done in this community, right? I didn't know anything about the pageant. Forgive me, right? Because, you know, I really wasn't worried about what everybody else was doing. I was worried about myself. I was very selfish, right? Then I started this radio station, and I couldn't be selfish anymore, right? I had to figure out who was doing what. And I apologize for not getting with you sooner, right, to talk about this, and maybe finding a young lady that you could have passed the baton to,
Yes.
right? Because I feel like that's important, teaching our young ladies and our young men, right,
Yes.
the rights, the wrongs, the ups and the downs, and you can't have anything in this life without failing. So tell me something that you feel as though, it might not be a failure, but you feel as though you could have done better.
Oh, I always feel like I could have been a better mother,
Okay,
a better parent.
right,
Yes.
okay.
You know, and like you say, we don't have a manual for parenting.
No, we don't.
And all the decisions I made, I look back, because you don't want to live life with regrets.
No, you don't.
So at that time, I did the best that I could with the information that I had at that time. So I definitely believe, I mean, I've done a great job.
Right.
But
things you could
I
have
just
done better.
seen
Right,
things I could have done a little differently.
right.
You know, like I was sharing with you earlier, my son who's 32, he shared with me not too long ago that he felt as though I spent more time with the pageant girls than I did him.
Wow.
And I had to own that.
Yes, you
and
do.
I had to apologize
Yes,
to
you
my
do.
32-year-old son
Yes, you do.
a couple months ago
Right.
that I was sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I was giving him and the pageant girls
The same amount of attention.
same amount of attention. He's like, but you didn't do this.
Right.
You got excited about them.
Right. You ain't get excited about me and I
I
playing
was like,
baseball.
but you were a boy. You was
right.
with your
You was with your
dad.
dad. But mom's excitement takes the
Yeah.
you're not worried about that because dad doesn't really show excitement. Yeah, that's what you're
Yeah.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. And I try to get my son to understand that I'm not going to be excited about your age. That's what mom does.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be. But when you mess up, I'm on. Why is that? Because I'm your father.
That's what dads do.
I'm disciplined,
That's
right?
what
I'm
dads
not.
do.
I want to be nurturing, right?
Right.
I need to have a softer hand, but
Yes.
I don't, because my dad was not soft. If he said he wanted me to do something, I did it. And if I didn't, I learned the consequences for not doing it, right?
Exactly.
So, I told him I don't know any other way to be a dad.
Right.
You can talk to me.
Yeah.
You feel me? And that's a lot of the reason why I started the radio station. I was going through a divorce. I knew my kids would be mad. I'm like, man, 4 or 5 years, they're going to be yelling at me and telling me I ain't do this, I ain't do that. Because I had to change my life. I wanted to be here for them, right? And the life that I was living was either going to have me dead or in jail.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, halt,
Thank
stop.
God.
And I had to do everything from the muscle, right? And give it up.
Wow.
Give me something that you did from your muscle, from your heart, and you could say it didn't really pay you too much, or you didn't get any notoriety for it.
Well, that's a hard question. Yeah. I'm almost thinking, being out on this campaign trail by myself, but I wasn't by myself. I was with God.
Absolutely.
It was cold some days.
Absolutely.
I fell 2 days ago, knocking on doors, fell. I'm in pain, but I took a painkiller, so I'm feeling a little good.
You feel a little bit, right?
That I was able to be here. But I fell, and I was out there by myself. You know what I'm saying? And the neighbor came out, and she was like, "You okay?" And I was I couldn't even get up.
Right.
I couldn't even get up. And on this campaign trail, going door to door, people not opening their doors, I was walking with God. I was tired. You know, you go to work 9 to 5, and then I'm like, I got an hour to go out here and get some signatures. And I was exhausted, and especially on the weekends, I was extremely exhausted. And I was like, God, help me pick up my feet, because I was dragging, knocking on. Where I was going in Trainer is steps. You step up this person's house, they got 20 steps,
You
come back down, then you got to walk another couple feet to the next person's
20
house.
steps on that, yeah.
Up and down steps, knocking on doors, and people were not, those Ring cameras.
Oh yeah, they got that, yeah.
People are not, they looking at their
You
phone,
know who
they
that
like,
is?
who you?
Right, they're not even
What
going
you
to say anything, right?
They don't even say anything.
She knocking on the door
Leave a
for?
message.
Oh,
They
she
don't say
Jehovah's Witness.
anything.
If you
I was like, oh my God, people are not. And so then I was like, well, let me wear my mask. Maybe if they see that I have my mask on, they'll.
No, that's even worse.
No.
She trying to rob us.
Yeah, my son was like, Mom, if you don't take that mask off.
Right.
That's why people not opening their doors. I was like, no, son, people just not opening their doors.
Right.
Period. So I think this campaign has toughened me up, that if you want it, it's not going to come easy.
It's not. It's not.
Nothing in life worth having is going to come easy.
Hit that bell for me.
Bam, 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 bam.
Nothing.
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 But if you want it, you're going to do it from the muscle.
Right.
You're going to pray
Right.
that God be with you.
Absolutely.
Order your steps, and you keep pushing. Keep pushing. That's it.
Right.
And other than that, you know, I was fortunate in the military, you know, had some hiccups along the way because it was rough during the time that I was in 82, 83. It was frowned upon women
to be in the military. Right.
It
So they
wasn't
made it
easy
extra
for
hard
women.
on you. Right.
Yes. It's like you want to be a man, so you need to carry that rifle, that 50
That bag,
50-pound backpack. You need to be a man. So it was extremely hard, and I was young, but I was built for that.
Right.
I think I was built for it.
Okay. Is there a reason why you went into the Army? Like,
I hope my girlfriend is watching. Sandra, are you watching? My girlfriend Sandra was like, Des, let's do the buddy system and go in the Army.
she got off the bus.
She didn't even show up at the bus stop.
Ooh. And you went.
I went. I was like, we were supposed to go together.
She was like, no, I ain't going to the
She
Army.
was like, I changed my mind.
Hey, you ain't called me.
I'm like, I ain't get the memo.
Right.
But I went. She came in 2 years later.
Okay.
She really did. So I love her to death. She's like one of my biggest cheerleaders. I love her to death.
That's awesome, man. When you have friends that
I love
y'all
her.
share the same experience, it might not have been the same time, but y'all share the same experience. Y'all went through the
Yes.
same exact thing at boot camp. I was going into the Army, and then I changed my mind. This was while Bosnia and all that stuff was going on. I'm not going over there in the snow and people shooting at me. I'm good.
It's real.
I'm straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just stayed here and did the same thing.
Oh,
which was
Lord Jesus.
simple, right? But so as a judge,
As a judge.
what character traits or what personality traits are you going to give to the people that you're sitting in front of, right? Because we have tons of different judges. So what do you bring to that seat that no one else can bring?
Well, as a woman, I bring a different perspective,
Okay.
a fresh perspective that is more about compassion, fairness, and integrity. I believe my years experience in the military, in the Army, those 11 years, the core values are almost exactly the same of that of a judge and a soldier. The core values, the principles of honor, respect, trust, selflessness, integrity. Those are core values that I learned while in the military that has taken me throughout my life. And I believe on the bench, especially, like I said, being a woman, bringing a different perspective to the bench. And they need more women
Yes, they do.
in the judicial system. They
do.
really do.
They do.
There's not a lot of women serving, and we add value.
Right.
And I know
Tremendous value.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I know as a mother, having a son who has appeared in front of judges, and I will share that one time of the many times that we appeared in front of judges, one judge and a police officer were a little too friendly. He said to the judge, "Did you get my invitation for the wedding?" That's a look of impropriety.
It is.
That is impropriety.
Right.
That should not be a situation. I come uninfluenced, never been a politician.
Right.
You'll never find me in some minutes saying this or that about any political party.
Right.
And I've always prided myself that I remain neutral,
Impartial.
impartial.
Absolutely.
Those are core values of a judge.
Of a judge, right.
I've been living this. That's why I know I'm built for this,
okay.
because I've been living it. With my nonprofit, I had a state rep at that time, Thaddeus Kirkland, host my girls in Harrisburg.
Oh, wow.
I had Senator Pileggi host my girls at Harrisburg. I love being neutral, impartial, uninfluenced by either party.
Right.
So I don't bring that to the table. I'm a citizen. I'm a community person. I'm from the community. I'm for the community. I'm just like everybody else. I don't sit high and look low. Never have. I'm in the trenches doing the work.
Let's go.
With my nonprofit, I was in the trenches doing the work. It was hard for me to delegate. I have a board. It was hard for me to delegate. You do this, you do that. I'm like, let me do it. Let me do it.
Let me
and
do
that's
it.
how I burnt myself out with my pageant, really.
So are you telling me I'm going to burn myself? Because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
the same
But
way.
pace yourself.
I am. I
Pace
am
yourself.
now. You know, I have to.
Yeah.
I
You're
have
a
to.
man.
Right.
You got this.
Yeah. It's still, it's
You built
still,
a little differently.
yeah, it's still hard, though.
It's
absolutely,
very
it's still
hard. But when your heart is in the right place, everything is going to work out.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I love doing the pageant, but I just burnt myself out. It was a lot.
Right.
It was a lot. And I guess I can add more value to women going through breast cancer, so I wanted to focus my attention
On that.
raising money to impact
Right.
the women who are suffering.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of women with breast cancer, they suffer in silence.
Okay.
A lot of women don't even share
I don't.
that they're going through
I
it.
don't. I know Leslie
They're
didn't.
warriors.
Right. You know, if you didn't know that Leslie was dealing with breast cancer. You didn't know, even though she didn't have a problem with, she shaved her head or wearing her hair crazy.
Bless her heart.
The way she felt, the way she looked, I'm like, yo, just lay down, bro, or stay home.
Take a
like you don't
rest.
have. But she was here. She was helping me, right? And it was a way for her
To deal.
to deal.
The way to cope.
You know what I mean? And
To stop focusing
right.
on her illness.
on her illness. I'm like, yo, you just had chemo, bro. Go
Yes.
home. No, I'm good. I'm here.
Yes. Pushing
Right?
through.
And I'm like, wow, man. Like, if she can do it, I gotta do it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
They inspire.
Yeah,
like
they
the
do.
women,
They do.
they inspire me.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I better not complain. I better keep doing what I need to do. Because this sister over here is in worse shape
Yes, she
than
is.
I am.
Right.
So I better not complain. So they are definitely warriors that are pillars of strength, and I respect them so much.
Right.
Because I want to just keep raising money.
Right. Well, you can. Nobody said you can't
Not
keep
as a
raising money.
judge.
As a judge, you can't raise money as a
I
judge.
can't ask for a dollar.
You can't do anything as a judge.
I know. You have to be so transparent
You
as
do.
a judge with
You
your
do.
finances.
Yeah.
So transparent. They want to know everything.
Everything. As they should.
Yeah.
You could be getting paid off by the mafia,
Oh.
to throw their cases out. So they need to know that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
Oh, man.
anyway, but getting back to your question about what do I bring to the branch, I believe that I would uphold the law, apply the law,
Mm-hmm.
and treat everyone with fairness and allow justice to be just
Right. Right. Right.
for everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone.
Absolutely.
Anyone that came before me, I don't care who they are, what they go through. They're a human being, and they should be treated with dignity and respect.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely.
Period. I don't want to be that person, even though your bench is high, I don't want to be that judge that, sits high and look low, because that person is me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That could be my son, my daughter. Well, I don't have a daughter, but you understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's my community. How
Absolutely.
can I help? I think, I'm not a judge, but I would think maybe sometimes there's alternative to punitive damages.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may need to peel back the layers.
Right.
Why am I constantly seeing you?
Right.
What's going on?
Right.
Let's get to the root of the matter.
I mean, you can't judge a person unless you have all their
All the
information.
information.
Right.
So I want to be that judge that listens.
Right.
Takes the time. Everybody wants their day in court. I want the court to be a safe space for victims. But I also want to, public safety is important.
Right.
But I also want to be that judge that shows compassion and because the thing is this, when judges make a decision, it not only impacts that person that comes before them, it impacts the whole family. So a judge is the people's judge. It's the judge of the community. You're
Right.
from the community, you live with your
Right.
constituents,
Right.
you're of the community.
Right.
And what's perfect about me, I'm from Chester, but I live in Trainer. Chester, Trainer, and Marcus Sook are three unique communities.
Uniquely different community.
Very different.
Right.
But I want to be that bridge.
Right.
You can't spell community without unity.
Come on. And communication. It starts it
So
off.
I want to be that bridge that unifies
Yes.
Marcus Sook, Trainer, and Chester.
Yes.
I want to be that. I
Awesome.
live in Trainer, so I have a
Awesome.
vested interest
Right,
there.
Right.
I'm from Chester. My heart is Chester.
See pride.
And Marcus Sook, I'm always shopping and eating at Seafood Connection and Catch 22. You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? So I have a vested interest in all these communities. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's about the people.
Yep.
It's about serving the people with fairness, equality, justly, making decisions, being decisive
Right.
with your decisions.
Absolutely.
You have to have integrity. You have to be impartial. And like I said, that experience that I had with that judge and my son, in my mind, my son did not have a fair chance because these two are very familiar,
Right.
and they've been breaking bread together.
For a while.
This judge and this police officer.
For a while.
I don't know any police officers per se. My sister, my half sister Angie, her husband is a cop, so he's the only cop I know.
Right.
But I have no affiliation like this particular judge had with this
With the cop.
police officer.
Did you get my invitation to
Did
his
you
wedding?
get my invitation to the wedding? And I was like,
During court, you asked me that.
you know, this was actually before court. You know,
Right,
they're
right.
waiting for, you know,
Okay.
the defendant to arrive and all that. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be that judge. I don't want to be that judge. And because I have no political affiliation, I've always been independently doing my nonprofit,
Right.
you know, to my own beat. I don't bring any of that. And the thing that I love also about this vacancy, it's a vacant.
Yep.
I'm not taking from nobody.
Nobody. Right.
I'm not taking food off the table of
For
nobody.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
That's a beautiful thing.
Right.
I'm not, there's no incumbent, so I'm not,
Right.
there's no incumbent.
And shout out to Judge Seaton, man. He held that seat down for a long time.
Very long time.
Right, very long time.
Very long
right?
time,
So shout out to
yes.
him, man.
Definitely.
Kind of get him to
Make
come
it
through here and
well.
do an interview with me.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that we have, you know, Judge Van is already sitting in her seat, right? And,
Yes.
And
that's another thing. When I go to someone's house, they're like, "You're trying to take Judge Van's seat?" I'm like,
No.
No. Judge Seaton retired 2 years ago.
Right. You have to tell people that.
You have to tell them.
Right.
Yes, I want them to know.
You have to know
No
that,
way.
right? This is a vacant seat right now.
It's a vacant seat.
Right.
Yes. And I want to restore to that seat honor, respect, integrity, fairness, equality, justice for all. I want to be the guardian of justice. As a judge, you're going to be a shrink, you're going to be a mom, you're going to be a referee,
Right.
you're going to be so many different things.
So many different things.
So many different things. And I believe I have the demeanor because I'm approachable
Right.
in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm approachable. And I know one of the things about my mom, she would always say, show love and kindness
Yes.
and be a servant.
Yes.
And I've done that
Right.
for 40 years, serving my country for 11 years,
Right.
serving my community with my nonprofit for 22 years,
Right.
being a legal professional for 25 years.
Wow.
Did I say 22 years
Right.
with the community service, and 25 as a legal professional. I believe God has prepared me
Right.
for such a time as this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not new to it, I'm true to it.
Let's go.
I believe it in my heart because the way the universe has evolved, this wasn't available. This opportunity for me was not available last year.
No, it wasn't.
It didn't become available until February the 3rd,
When they
2023.
when they cut them lines and redistrict everything, right?
So I'm a little bit late to the game,
Right.
but I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
I know that I'm the best candidate.
Right.
I got 40 years documented experience, history that tells me I'm the best person.
Well, and for people that are trying to figure out how do you vote for a judge, right? So you can only vote if you live in that area, right?
Right. So Chester is ward for Judge Seaton seat, Court 32-122, is Chester wards 10 and 11, which is like Yarnell Street, Yarnell Street, all the way to Marcus Oak,
Okay.
the West End,
All right.
Highland Avenue, Highland Gardens,
Right.
Bethel Road.
Yeah, I had
That's like the 11th
Yeah,
up on Bethel Road area.
last case I had Judge Seaton.
You had Judge Seaton.
Yeah.
Did he treat you fairly?
He did.
Because sometimes you might not agree, or you might not be happy with the
didn't.
outcome.
I didn't
But
agree.
if he treated you fairly,
He tried to once he realized who I was.
oh,
Right.
what that mean?
Look, once he realized who my mom was, my mom stood up when he tried to send me out to the county because I ain't have no money for no lawyer.
Okay.
He stood up. My mom stood up and he came in the back. He was like, "That's your mom." Like, yeah, I remember you eating in my grandmother's house and all that good stuff. Oh man, but after we had a conversation, I thanked him because if he didn't send me to jail, I don't know where I would be right now. You know what I mean? And I thank my PO, who's also the other judge, Wilden Davis, right?
Oh,
Judge Davis.
wow.
And I thank my PO too. I think they thought I was mad at them, but I wasn't, right?
Okay.
There was no reason for me to be mad at you. I did what I did to myself.
Yes, sir.
You did your job.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
I understand that. It was
Yes.
always stay away from the police. They have a job to do. You have a job to do to stay away from the police, right?
Right.
And I didn't do a very good job at that. My
Okay.
criminal background
Well, look
can
at you
prove it.
now.
Right.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for those mistakes or
That
those
was tough
missteps.
love, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was looking
Yeah.
for a father figure, and I got quite a couple different ones, right? But I want to thank you for
It's
for
over.
hitting me up, and it could be over, right? Absolutely.
It was
But
just
I want
getting
I want you to give your last spill, because this isn't the last time we'll see you, right? We have tons of shows. We have Straight to the Point with Adelaide Evans. You can sit in those chairs right behind you,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Right,
Oh,
and talk to
awesome.
Adelaide. We have
that would be nice. I would love to come back.
Portia P. We have tons of shows, right? We're also starting a new show on this Thursday, Parenting with a Purpose. So, just trying to give information that can help young people understand how important it is to be a mother, to be a father. You know what I mean? So come back. If you're here now, come back Thursday, 7 p.m. Parenting with a Purpose.
Okay.
And let's help.
That's
Let's help our community, man.
Yes,
Let's help our
absolutely.
community heal.
We can never do enough.
No, we can't.
We can never do enough.
No, we can't.
I'm gonna say this. One last thing. When my class of 1982 presented me with the humanitarian award,
Wow.
probably about 15 years ago, it made me feel as though I needed to do more. I needed to do more for my community.
Right.
That award, I was like, I'm not deserving. I got to do more so that I am deserving of that award. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I've always felt like I got to do more. And I believe that this is it. That God has purposely placed me here. That the laws of the universe is just lining up. The stars are lining up.
Right.
That trainer, who would have thought that trainer and Marcus would now be a part of
Part of
Chester
Chester
Court?
Court. Not me.
I didn't see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either. I thought where were they going before?
They were Judge Griffin,
Upper Chichester.
Linwood area.
Linwood, yeah.
Judge Griffin.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So, things happen, and so I'm super excited about being on this campaign trail. And I thank the Democratic Committee of Chester for endorsing me.
Hey, you've been endorsed. You've been
That
endorsed
was-
by the guys.
That was huge and unexpected.
Mm.
And, so sometimes your work speaks for itself.
It does.
You don't have to come before people asking for anything. They will reach out to you and let you know how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they
You have to
definitely
accept it.
told me how they feel.
Right.
And I accepted it, and I'm appreciative. I don't take anything for granted.
Shouldn't.
I'm just excited about the opportunity.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't take it lightly. The role of a judge is you're impacting people's lives.
Period.
This is huge.
Right.
This is major.
So make it a lasting impression. Don't just send them to jail. And I talk to the DA all the time, and I tell them they have to have grace, right?
Yes.
You have to. Chester
kindness.
is full of great people.
Yes.
People that have had their hopes and their dreams crushed.
Yes.
You feel me? By each other, right?
Yes.
And it's not on purpose. It's just what happens.
Happens.
And you have people that are doing things, and they don't necessarily really know better. They just know that that's what they're supposed to do. And why? Because someone else is doing it right next to them, or somebody next to them is doing it, or somebody in front of them or in back of them. So it's what everybody else is doing. So what's wrong when I do it, right? But the
Right.
thing is, if you give us grace, if you allow us to understand that we made a mistake,
Yes.
right? And you say, all right, listen, this is what you need to do to fix your mistake. Let me
Yes.
help you out. You need a job.
Yes.
You need to get your GED.
Yes.
You need a tutor,
Yes.
right? And when I go to them and I tell them this, they're like, yeah, P, all right, that's what we're going to do. And it's exciting to see the system changing,
Yes.
right? But it's also exciting for young people that are getting arrested with their first gun charge, right? I have young men in the program that got arrested, first gun, but he bought the gun himself from the store, right? So you knew he wasn't going to do anything with it. It was just for protection for him from the other people that carry guns. So put him in grace, house arrest, let's give him what he's supposed to get. Get him on the GED. If he already has a GED, already has a job, right? Let me talk to him about being a father. Let me try to help him expand his business if he wants to do that. So, you know, I appreciate Jack Stolzheimer for coming up with Chester Partnership for Safe Neighborhoods, right? And for allowing the residents of Chester to receive grace for the first time.
Yes,
and I know there are so many other people, right, who were missing and were not able to hit everything on, but you know, just hitting one person is a world. You can change one person, you're changing the world.
Yes,
so
one person at a time.
I took that hard when I first started the job, because I'm like, man, I'm trying to get everybody in this dream. But I had to understand, right? You know, one person, that one person you're helping is a world. So I wish you the best of luck on the campaign trail.
Thank you so much. Potts for Judge, Potts for Judge, May 16th.
Absolutely. And I thank you for stopping through. And anytime you want to come back through. Thank you so much.
This was awesome. You made it so you know, because I was nervous.
I know you were. I got you.
Made it very easy for me.
Real simple. Real simple.
I thank you.
Absolutely. I want to thank Ms. Desiree Potts for stopping through and having a beautiful conversation with me. This is what happens, Chester, when we stand together, when we help each other, we can have a conversation. Right?
Yes.
It's cmpradio.net. It's your boy Uncle P telling y'all, man, have a great night, man. Peace.